In the monumental, culturally seismic, and compositionally radical masterpiece, Carrie, legendary Grand Master of Horror Stephen King delivers the explosive foundation of his unparalleled career. The novel brilliantly utilizes a telekinetic vengeance and religious trauma framework. Set against the claustrophobic, gossip-fueled backdrop of Chamberlain, Maine, the narrative follows Carrie White, a deeply ostracized, painfully shy high school senior who is systematically tormented by her cruel peers at school and brutally abused at home by her fanatical, unstable mother, Margaret. Carrie's isolated existence shatters when she experiences her first menstruation in the school shower, triggering a savage onslaught of bullying from the other girls, and simultaneously awakening an ancient, terrifyingly volatile latent power within her: telekinesis, the ability to manipulate physical objects using only the raw focus of her mind. King's prose is exceptionally visceral, raw, and structurally innovative. Rather than employing a straightforward chronological timeline, the narrative utilizes a brilliant multimedia epistolary structure, weaving Carrie's tragic story together through fictional book excerpts, clinical psychological profiles, military tribunal transcripts, and local newspaper clippings written years after the tragedy. King expertly weaponizes the monstrous feminine and high school caste system tropes, building an unbearable undercurrent of atmospheric tension. When a guilt-ridden classmate convinces her handsome boyfriend Tommy Ross to take Carrie to the senior prom, it appears Carrie might finally experience a moment of normal teenage acceptance. However, a malicious conspiracy orchestrated by her high school torturers transforms the sanctuary of the gymnasium into a cruel, humiliating trap. Far from a basic monster movie story, the book serves as a profound, devastating exploration of institutional cruelty, the cyclical nature of domestic abuse, and the terrifying reality of what happens when the systematically oppressed are suddenly granted absolute godlike power. The audiobook format is an absolute tour de force in classic horror narration, delivering an incredibly intense, emotionally raw listening experience that translates King's fractured epistolary landscape beautifully to headphones. The narration captures the stark atmospheric shifts with immense precision, shifting effortlessly from Carrie's weeping, desperate vulnerability to Margaret's terrifying, booming religious zealotry, and finally to the clinical, detached tone of the post-disaster investigators. The pacing keeps the atmospheric pressure dialed to a fever pitch, making the legendary, blood-soaked climax feel shockingly immediate and apocalyptic. It is a mandatory audio blockbuster for every fiction enthusiast who wants to experience the roots of modern horror storytelling. By the time the final act unleashes Carrie's absolute, unbridled fury upon the town of Chamberlain, turning a teenage rite of passage into a dark, fire and blood-drenched map of ultimate retribution, you will realize that Carrie remains an untouchable triumph of American literature.